The world of Lorexi Prime was calm, at least on the surface. Its skies glowed lavender and its lakes shimmered like glass. The noble houses stood tall in their ivory towers, proud and cold. Behind them, however, many families were crumbling, under debt, shame, and secrets. One such family was the House of Vellara. They had lost everything, except their daughter. Her name was Celia, and today she was being sold. The deal Celia stood in front of her mother, trembling. Her green skin was pale and her silver hair was braided with white flowers, custom for a bonding ceremony. But this wasn't a wedding of joy, it was payment. Her father had borrowed too much from an Earth-based syndicate. When he failed to pay, they made an offer. "Give us your daughter," they said. "She will be bonded to a human. The debt will be cleared." Her mother never looked her in the eyes when she agreed. Celia's tears, as the shuttle arrived. Celia stood on the platform surrounded by guards in silence. Her hands were cuffed in soft metal bands. She didn't struggle. She didn't scream. But her eyes glistened with quiet tears. "They're sending me away," she whispered. "To a stranger. To a different world." No one replied. The human's arrival on the other side of the galaxy, Ethan Cross, a decorated human soldier, received a strange message. "You've been assigned a bonded mate as part of diplomatic arrangements. You can decline." But when he read the message again and saw the girl's file, her face, her story, something in him paused. "She's just a debt payment," the message said. He frowned. No one should be treated like that. The journey Celia's shuttle drifted through deep space. She sat quietly, staring out at the stars. The robotic voice announced, "Arrival in 12 hours. You will be transferred to Human Settlement Colony 5. She wiped her eyes. "He'll probably hate me. I'm just a trade. Cliffhanger ending. Hook for part 2. As the ship neared orbit, Ethan stood waiting outside the landing bay, his uniform crisp, his face unreadable. Celia stepped out, chains still on her wrists. She kept her head down until he spoke. "Take those. Offer." The guards looked confused. "Sir?" "She's not a prisoner." She slowly looked up and saw his face, not cruel, not greedy, but kind. Her breath caught. The tears didn't fall this time. Celia had expected a monster. She had been told human males were cold, violent, greedy, that they only accepted bonded brides for control or pleasure. So when she looked up and saw Ethan Cross, she froze. Not because he was frightening, but because he wasn't. He had no cruel expression, no anger in his stance. Just steady brown, eyes sharp but calm, and a quiet strength in the way he stood. "Remove her cuffs," he said again, voice firm. The guard hesitated. "Sir, she's your legal property now." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She's not a thing. Do it." The cuffs clicked open. Celia's confusion. Celia rubbed her wrists gently, still silent. She expected Ethan to grab her or bark an order. Instead, he took off his gloves and held out a hand. "Come on, let's get you some food." Celia blinked. "You're not going to lock me up?" He shook his head. "Why would I do that?" "Because that's what happens when someone is bought." He stared at her for a moment, then said softly, "You're not a slave. Not here." Settling in Ethan's outpost was small but clean. A simple house near the edge of Colony 5, with one window that looked out over the sand dunes. He showed her the guest room. "You can stay here for now," he said. "You don't owe me anything." She stepped inside slowly, hands trembling. You don't want to claim me?" Ethan paused. "Do you want that?" Celia turned her back. "I don't know what I want. I only know I was forced." A shared meal. That night they sat across from each other in silence. Ethan cooked something called stew. It smelled strong but warm. Celia took a bite and blinked. "It's good." He smiled a little. It's not much. Better than ration cubes, she whispered. They shared a quiet moment. Not as bonded mates, but as two people, both trying to understand. A question from the heart. After the meal, Ethan cleaned up while Celia sat on the porch, looking at the sky. He came out and sat beside her. "Why didn't you run?" he asked. She looked down. "Because there was nowhere to go." He nodded slowly. "But now, you have a choice." She turned to him. "And if I choose to stay?" Ethan's voice was soft. "Then I'll never make you regret it." Cliffhanger ending, hook for part 3. From a nearby ridge, a drone watched silently, red light blinking. Inside the Zarnai trader ship above the colony, a voice hissed. "The human hasn't claimed her yet. Send a message to her father. If she doesn't fulfill the bond, the debt returns." Far below, Celia sat quietly, unaware. But Ethan had seen something in her eyes. A spark. The next morning, Celia woke to birdsong, not alarms or guards barking orders. For a moment, she forgot she was in a human colony. She walked out of the small guest room and saw Ethan in the kitchen preparing breakfast. "You slept well?" he asked without turning. She nodded quietly. "Too well. I thought I was dreaming." Ethan placed a plate in front of her. "This isn't a dream. You're safe here." She gave a small smile, but something still tugged at her heart. The message far above in orbit, a Zarnai merchant ship floated cold and silent. Inside, a red hologram flickered. "She's not fulfilling her bond. Send the reminder." Moments later, Ethan's datapad beeped. He checked it, expecting a mission report, but his expression changed. Notice. Subject, Celia Vellalara. Has not completed bonding. Debt status pending. At the bottom it said, "If union is not sealed within 3 days, her family will owe double." Ethan's hands clenched. The dilemma. He didn't show Celia the message. Not yet. But she noticed something was wrong. "What did they say?" Ethan hesitated. "It's nothing urgent." She looked at him seriously. "Don't lie to me." Finally, he sighed and handed her the device. Celia read it in silence. Her lips parted, eyes wide. "They'll punish my family again." She looked at Ethan. "You have to mark me, bond me." He shook his head firmly. "Not like this." The truth about bonding on. Her planet bonding wasn't just ceremonial. It involved a chemical ritual, a marking, a night of shared energy that sealed two people together for life. But it was sacred. "If you do it under pressure," she said, "I become no different than property." Ethan leaned forward. "Then we'll find another way." But outside, something buzzed in the air. Metal wings. A Zarnai drone hovered just beyond the colony's shield wall, watching, waiting. Hope from the past later. Celia found a small photo frame in Ethan's room. Inside it, a faded picture. A young, human girl, and next to her, a much younger Ethan. "Your sister?" He nodded slowly. "She died in a raid by traitors." Celia sat beside him. "That's why you hate them." "I don't hate," he said. "I just protect what others throw away." She looked down at her hands. "Is that what I am? Something thrown away?" Ethan shook his head. "No, you're something I want to hold on to." Cliffhanger ending, hook for part 4. That night, Celia stood on the roof looking up at the stars. A small scar on her wrist began to glow faintly. Her species reacted to danger. Below, Ethan loaded his weapon. He knew what that signal from orbit meant. They weren't going to wait. The alarm blared through Colony 5 just past midnight. Red lights lit up the sky. Ethan was already out of bed, boots on, weapon drawn. "What's happening?" Celia cried, rushing into the hallway. "Zarnai drop pods," he said sharply. "They're coming for you." Her eyes widened. "They can't. I haven't broken the agreement." Ethan didn't look at her. He was already moving, fast and cold. They don't care about rules, they only care about control. The first blast outside the colony walls, the air shimmered. Then, boom, a large pod slammed into the ground, sending up clouds of red dust. From it emerged Zarnai mercenaries, slim, tall, with long curved armor and glowing helmets. Each carried a plasma whip and energy rifle. They moved fast. Not to kill, to retrieve. Ethan fired a warning shot from atop the watchtower. You want her? You'll have to go through me, the lead merc hissed. She belongs to us, Celia's. Decision. Celia watched from the command center screen, heart pounding, fear twisted in her chest. She had been a silent girl for too long, but now, Ethan was fighting because of her. No more hiding, she whispered. She pulled on a protective coat and ran outside toward him. Ethan turned. What are you doing? Helping the man who didn't treat me like a slave. The fight. The Zarnai opened fire. Ethan grabbed Celia and pulled her behind cover. You know how to use one of these? He asked, handing her a small sidearm. She took it, hands shaking. Not well. Then stay close. The two moved together like instinct, ducking, firing, protecting each other. The bond hadn't been marked yet, but something deeper had already formed. Trust, betrayal revealed. As they retreated into the backup shelter, Ethan activated a firewall. Celia collapsed to the ground, breathing hard. Then a voice crackled through the comm. You shouldn't have protected her, Cross. She was never meant to live freely. It was a Zarnai noble, the one who signed the original debt deal. She was supposed to be broken, but you made her believe she had worth. Ethan's eyes narrowed. That's because she does. Cliffhanger ending. Hook for part 5. As the colony went dark under EMP pulse, Ethan looked at Celia. She was bleeding from a small cut on her arm, and glowing veins pulsed beneath her skin. A defense reaction her species only triggered when they were about to do something dangerous. Celia, what's happening to you? She looked up at him with fierce, glowing eyes. They wanted me as a slave. Now they'll see what I really am. Cliffhanger ending. Hook for part 9. Outside the colony, invisible drones passed silently through the atmosphere, scanning, tracking. The silent storm unit had arrived, and this time, they wouldn't stop with warnings. They were here to cleanse everything. Before the sun rose, before even the birds sang, the sky above the colony turned quiet and cold. A black cloud drifted silently, too low to be natural. It wasn't a storm. It was the silent storm unit, Zarnai's most feared assassin, squad. They never made noise. They never left survivors. Their only mission now: erase the bonded girl and the human. Meanwhile, in the shelter, Ethan had barely slept. He sat beside Celia, who now glowed faintly in her sleep. Her strength was returning, but slowly. He held his weapon across his lap, checking for movement outside the window every few minutes. You saved the colony, he whispered to her. Now I'll save you. Suddenly the lights flickered. His instincts kicked in. Something was wrong. The first attack, a sharp hiss came from the door, a silent gas. Ethan reacted fast, grabbing a small breather mask and sealing it on Celia's face. Then, the wall exploded. Figures in jet-black suits entered, weapons humming. Their faces were hidden behind red visors. Target confirmed. Kill the male, capture the girl. Ethan rolled across the floor and fired. One assassin fell. But the others moved like shadows. Fast, brutal, precise. Celia awakens. Again, the sound of Ethan's pained grunt woke her. She sat up, dazed. Ethan, run, he shouted. They're not here to negotiate. But she didn't run. Her eyes caught fire again, and this time her energy answered her fear. She rose, surrounded by light, then sent a blast wave in all directions. 3 attackers were thrown across the room like paper. Doll, not just a girl anymore. Celia stood tall. Her robe flowed behind her like wings of heat. Her hands pulsed with controlled flame. One assassin tried to fire again. Celia stopped the beam midair with her bare hand. "You've taken everything from me once," she said coldly. "You won't do it again." She walked forward, not running, gliding with power. "My bond is not weakness, it's my strength." Ethan's choice, Ethan, bleeding and bruised, still held his rifle. He saw her. Glorious, powerful, unstoppable. But one enemy had hidden behind the curtain, holding a plasma dagger. Ethan spotted the movement and jumped. Celia down. He tackled her away, but the dagger caught his shoulder. He groaned in pain as blood spilled. She turned, furious. Her fire turned blue, the hottest form, and the last attacker turned to ashes. After the fight, the room was wrecked. Burned walls, cracked floors, smoke everywhere. Celia helped Ethan sit up, her hands trembling. "Why did you take that hit?" He gave a weak smile. "Because you're worth more than my pain." She touched his face gently. "You're worth more than my entire world." Cliffhanger ending. Hook for part 10. Suddenly, Celia gasped. A mark on her palm began to glow. A royal sigil that hadn't activated for generations. Ethan stared. "What is that?" She looked at him, shocked. "It means I'm next in line for the Orlith throne." Outside, the Zarnai Council received a message. "She's not just bonded, she's royalty. Kill her before the galaxy finds out." The sigil on Celia's hand pulsed with golden light, forming a crest, a royal Orlith symbol long thought lost. Ethan looked at it, stunned. "That mark, what does it mean?" Celia stared at it, trembling. "It's the sign of the first flame. It means I'm a direct bloodline heir to the throne of Orlith." Ethan blinked. "But your family was poor, you were traded for debt." Celia nodded. "They hid my bloodline, to protect me, or to use me one day. I was sold by relatives who knew what I carried." "The throne is empty." Celia sat down slowly, her hands shaking. "The Orlith throne has been empty for 19 years, since the royal line vanished. If I claim it, I'll have power over half the galaxy's flame-bonded." Ethan frowned. "And if you don't? Then the council stays in control. Forever." He touched her hand gently. "You were never meant to be a prisoner, Celia." She looked into his eyes. "I just wanted to be free, not rule." "Then let's make sure you're free and never used again." A message. From the shadows. Suddenly, Ethan's communicator beeped. A hidden signal flashed. It was from Mira, an old human intelligence contact who once infiltrated Zarnai politics. "You bonded with her?" Mira asked through static. "Yes." "Then listen. The council just placed a kill order on you both." "But there's something more. They lied to you." Ethan narrowed his eyes. "About what?" "She's not the only heir." Celia's shocked. Celia gasped. "There's another?" Mira replied. "Possibly. A male heir hidden on a dark moon called Draven's Maw. If he's found first, he can claim your birthright and your flame." "My flame?" Celia repeated. "Yes. If bonded forcibly, he can take your power and erase your bond with the human." Celia's heart sank. "Then we need to reach the throne world before he does." Preparing for a dangerous journey, Ethan packed quickly. Celia adjusted her robe, now stitched with a cloth symbol of the bond. "I'm not going to run this time," she said softly. "I know," Ethan replied. "You're going to stand and take what's yours." They shared a moment of silence. Then he added with a small smile, "I married a girl in chains, but now I walk beside a queen." Cliffhanger ending. Hook for part 11. Above the clouds, the council's stealth fleet shifted direction, toward Draven's Maw, and deep inside a dark vault on that moon, a boy opened his eyes. The same mark glowed on his hand. A voice whispered, "To him, you were born to rule, and to burn her bond to ash." The shuttle landed near the broken cliffs of Draven's Maw, a forgotten moon scarred by war. Sharp winds howled across jagged rocks and the ground pulsed with faint old flame energy. Ethan stepped out first, weapon ready. Celia followed, eyes glowing, heart pounding. He's here. I can feel it. Their bond, once warm and gentle, now buzzed with tension. What if he's stronger? She asked. Then we remind him you're not alone, Ethan said, gripping her hand. The Shadow Prince. Deep inside a stone ruin, a young alien male stepped forward. He had black flame tattoos across his chest and golden red eyes that shimmered like Celia's. His voice was smooth, but cold. So, my sister finally arrives. Celia froze. Brother? He nodded. Half-brother. Same flame. Different fate. They told me I was the only heir, she whispered. They lied to both of us. But only one of us can sit on that throne. A deadly offer, the brother Cale stepped closer. I offer you peace, Celia. Bond with me. Merge our flames. Rule beside me. Ethan's eyes narrowed. She already has a bond. Cale scoffed. With a human? That's not a real bond. That's a mistake. Celia stepped forward, voice firm. You think flame means power, but it also means choice. And I've made mine. The challenge begins. Cale's smile faded. Then I challenge you. A flare of dark fire burst from his hands, curling around his fists. One duel, flame versus flame. If you win, take the throne. If I win, your bond dies. Ethan grabbed her arm. Don't let him bait you, but Celia nodded slowly. I have to. This is my right. The bond trembles. As the duel began, the sky above Dreven's maw burned with orange fire. Cale moved fast. His strikes were sharp and full of anger. Celia fought defensively, her flame bright but careful. She didn't want to kill him. Not yet. Ethan, watching from the side, felt something strange. Their bond was weakening. She's holding back. Then it hit him. Kyle was trying to sever their bond with each strike. A shocking turn. Cale yelled, You don't need him, he's a weakness. He struck again. This time Celia was knocked to the ground. Your flame was meant for royalty, not love. Celia gritted her teeth. Then let me show you. My real flame. Cliffhanger ending. Hook for part 12. Celia rose, eyes burning brighter than ever before. Two flames forming behind her like phoenix wings. Cale froze. What are you? Ethan stepped forward, realizing what was happening. She wasn't just fighting for power. She was fighting for freedom, love, and a future she chose herself, and the final battle for the throne had just begun. The sky above Dreven's maw turned gold as two flames lit up the ruins, one dark and sharp, the other warm and bright. Celia stood tall, her energy wings glowing behind her, rising like a sun. Cale stepped back, shaken. That's not royal flame. That's something else. Ethan shouted from the side. It's her bond. She's stronger because she chose love. Celia's voice rang clear. You were taught to rule by force, I was forced to suffer, and now I choose peace. The battle ends, Cale roared and launched his final flame burst, a spear of pure heat. Celia didn't move, she simply raised one hand and caught it. The flame didn't burn her. It bent around her, softened by her will. This is what power really is, she said. And with a gentle wave, she released her energy. Not to destroy Cale, but to purify his flame. His dark fire flickered and died. Kyle collapsed to one knee, stunned. Why didn't you kill me? She walked closer. Because I'm not here to rule alone. I'm here to heal a broken world. A new beginning. Cale looked up slowly. For the first time, he cried. Celia reached out and helped him stand. Behind her, Ethan approached, cautious. Cale looked at him with guilt. I said your bond was weak. I was wrong. Ethan nodded. She taught me what strength is. Celia smiled at both of them. Now, let's go claim our future together. The throne awakens. Back on the ancient world of Orlith, the long-dead throne pulsed with life. As Celia entered the palace, flame markings across the walls lit up one by one. The great chamber opened, revealing a throne made of crystal and fire. Ethan stood by her side. Cale stood just behind, quiet but loyal. "Are you ready?" Ethan asked. Celia took a deep breath. Not to rule, but to guide. She stepped forward, and the throne accepted her, sending out a wave of warm light across the stars. The council's power shattered. The age of forced bonds was over. Epilogue. A bond that lasts. Months later, peace had spread across the flame-bonded worlds. Celia led with kindness. Cale helped build new laws. Ethan stood as her protector and partner. One evening, under the twin moons, Ethan placed a small ring in her hand. This time, no debt, no throne. Just one question. "Will you marry me again?" Celia laughed, eyes bright. "Yes. This time, by choice." They kissed. Two souls once broken by duty, now whole by love. And across the galaxy, their flame continued to burn, strong, bright, and free.